Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I really appreciate y'all. Hey, we went over 400 subscribers today, so that's pretty neat. So again, I really appreciate y'all. Kathy, appreciate y'all. Thanks for all the support. So on this video, I want to go over the scouting trips that we have done and kind of review them and explain or suggest how I would try to hunt those. So the first one is going to be the mountain or hill country scouting that me and Kathy actually done. So on these trips, on these hill stuff to scout out because this is what we were doing was early season, trying to find a buck or bucks to hunt early season. And these trips take a lot of time because you're looking for buck beds and you're scouting, ridge systems with secondary points, and you talking about spending some miles. You can put some miles in a day and only cover one ridge system, so it takes a lot of time to do that. So but this ridge system was a pretty tough deal because it was so dang nasty, but it's prime for bucks. So what we found, we found one buck bed, which I'm 90% sure that buck bed was during the rut. So I'm gonna kind of just knock it out because you can't really hunt that early season, but you know that the bucks and the does were in that area during that time frame. So the best thing about this trip was I found some buck droppings in a thick laurel bush edge that was going to a secondary point, which that means a lot. That means that's a buck's area of bedding or some type of bedding during his normal lifespan, because that droppings were probably a couple weeks old whenever we found them, and so that gives you a good idea, a real good starting point. So my thoughts on that is that's on the top of a ridge system. So and the side that he was bedding on, the laurel bush side that we're pretty sure he's bedding on, there's no way to get up from that side. So. And my thoughts on hunting that type of area, you got two ways you can do it. Morning hunting and evening hunt. Either way, to me, you've only got, say, a couple times, because he'll figure you out pretty quick. So that's why you're doing all this scouting and trying to find multiple areas. And plus, I'm going to do this in the area that my main area is during the rut, because you can kind of bugger them up a little bit and they'll figure you out if you don't kill them. So you can go no holds barred. You can just kind of push the envelope. So what I would do on that one is on this ridge system, he's using these laurel bushes on this side of the ridge, so can't come up that way. It's impossible. It's bluffed out. So you don't want to walk down the whole ridge, because if he's using that, then you're going to let him, you can alert him pretty quick. So my best case scenario on that is to pop over from the other side straight down, so to a tree, and hunt, with them. And this is going to be bow season. That's another thing, because that area is going to be, kind of early season, and it's bow hunting. So the only times I'll get to really do any early season hunting is bow hunting on the areas that we hunt, because gun hunting opens pretty quick. It opens faster than most part of the state. So what I would do is I'd come up and pop straight over, okay? And the downfall of that is I'm going to get there before daylight, an hour before, and them damn thermals are going to be going down. So and there's a high chance that he can bust you. There's no other way to be, close to where he's bedding at, because you got to be close. I don't think you're going to catch him coming out or coming back to bed, way late. So it's going to be pretty quick. So I'm going to give up that down thermal, because after daylight, if he comes to that point somewhere, I should have a shot, and have a tree set up when he catches that down thermal. If he comes before it switches, that I got a shot, and that'll go into some of your prep work is staying, minimizing your scent to an extent where he don't just blow out. Because if they smell you strong, if you're not using any kind of scent control or scent reduction, as soon as a mature buck picture is seeing up, he's gone. He's going to whirl and be gone most of the time. But a lot of times, and it's happened to me several times, if they think it's been a while since you're there or it's a fainter scent, they'll kind of hold up. So you can give you time for a shot, but you can dang sure make sure that your head's not down and try to catch them with their head turned or something to shoot. So I'm going to give that part up on the morning hunt, and I'll do it a couple times. I might hunt that, say, twice, and then be ready to go on to another one, because that area. I mean, I'm specifically talking about this area. Is that laurel bush thicket is hunting that a couple times in the morning coming over. Now, if I was gonna hunt this area in the evening, what I'll do is, and still gonna have to go back say in August and go pick a tree and have one where I can get to it without, leaving a bunch of scent and messing up. Don't go on the trail. I'll just go down there and peep to it, find me a place, do it around lunch or do it in the rain or something like that where, it's less, less invasive, and then, pick a tree to do that, and then be out of there, mark it and be out of there. I could have done it, I could have done it then, but I was still just scouting, because I don't want to make my final decision until I get back, kind of look at the map and see what I'm looking at. So, and when I looked at the map, that's basically all I can do is that. So the only other thing I can do is evening hunt it, and then that's going to have to be from below it. And my best case scenario on evening hunt like that is, and I'll do it right before season or right before I start hunting, and even kind of during the season a little bit if I'm looking for a new place, is finding a buck track coming off. You can circle that bottom and look for tracks coming down where they're crossing the creek or something like that, and set up tight to that area, and then give that a couple evening hunts, and then move on to another place or move on to the opposite side maybe if you can find tracks. But that's generally how I'm going to hunt that area, is just like that. Morning hunt, pop straight up over a ridge to the spot I'm going to hunt, do it. And I'll do that a lot gun hunting too on some of the good areas where I'm hunting junctions and stuff. Because most of the time I'm going to give up that down thermal a little bit because I'm going to be in that dang tree. But because one thing is because of pressure, other people, and I just won't give it up. And most of them times I'm hunting multiple areas or multiple junctions coming together, or a way that I'm above enough that I'm hoping the wind is going to carry it away from that. So even it will interfere with the thermals, but that's just part of it, because you've only got a certain amount of days that I can hunt during these gun hunts, so I'm going to give that up like that. So, and then again, the other way is just circling the bottom off the edges of that and seeing if I can find tracks coming down and set up tight, bow hunting. So then that will be it on that area. So that was, so I'll have that marked. I'll go back in August and do that. I'll have a couple more areas before then to do the same thing, and then you can also, which that area wouldn't be conducive to that because of the way them laurels are. I'm going to try to get tight. You can hunt the same level, as them, even in the evening, if they're going towards, because most of the time in them mountain areas and the hill areas is the acorns. What acorns you're going to have will start dropping earlier on the tops, and sometimes it's on certain sides, just depending on how the rain and stuff like that is. So you can kind of look at that, go back to that area. If you like early season scouting, is pop in there to where the white oaks and the red oaks are, and look, because a lot of times early season, especially in South Alabama or different areas, they'll still be together in a bachelor group, and you can look for rubs, because they're going to rub and do fresh stuff close to where they're feeding at and close to where they're bedding at, because they're kind of competing with each other a little bit, setting up a little hierarchy and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to find that sign and hunt like that if you're hunting areas where they're still bachelored up. Most of the time where we're hunting that, they're already pretty much split up, especially by Halloween. So anyway, the next area was the swamp. So, and that area, you got to remember this, that area I was scouting for later on for rut chasing, whenever we're chasing the rut. So that's the main purpose of going down there, is I'm looking for areas or different areas that I could hunt during the rut, just because we're chasing the rut. And then we go down there, say, toward the end of December and early January. That's kind of a late rut for that area, but that's the best time I can get down there because of the way I work. So anyway, if y'all remember, if you watch them, also go back and watch them videos if you can, if you haven't watched them. But one of them was Buck Beds 101. That's the first one I was talking about, and then this one's the swamp scouting. So I went down there, and that stuff like that is easier to scout because because it's flatter ground. You can move faster and cover a big area in the swamp, pretty quick. And still, I think I done 4.5 miles that day on that swamp stuff, and basically didn't get outside of a mile area. But I've seen a bunch of dang tracks and some rubs. And if y'all remember, toward like when I was in the middle of that swamp, I found a place that had multiple tracks coming from multiple directions. Okay, I marked that on my phone, marked the big rub that I found, and come home and pull up on the map, and I already knew where the fingers that I had looked at whenever I was crossing the swamp, going up looking at them fingers, suspected bedding area. I'm going to always stay on the closer side of the bedding, on most of the time when I'm hunting, especially rut hunting, because that's generally what the bucks are checking. They're looking for does, and by then the pressure has been on enough that the does have kind of moved to where they're bedding in prime places, secluded places, because they've been pressured. So you've already had enough doe hunts, and you already had archery season, so they're kind of pressured more. So they've kind of changed their lifestyle where they can trying to stay alive. So they're bedding on the thicker points and thicker cut over edges in areas like that where they can have advantages over people. So that's the main reason I'm looking at them points and pine points, the cut over points that swamps lead to, and them sagegrass points too also. So I'm looking at that. So when I found that bunch of tracks crossing, like a junction, so I come home, looked at that on the map, and what I'm going to do on that area is I'm going to hunt in the edge of the swamp where I can see to them junctions close to them. Anyway, I don't want to go in there far. Like I said before, I don't want to intrude too much into there, which I'm going to spend, and that's another thing on this area. When I'm coming down there, I'm going to spend 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days in that spot hunting, given, because them areas you got a chance of, I run cameras in areas like this, and you'll get a chance, if there's 4 or 5 different mature bucks that could come through checking them that doe bedding. So, and you could cross the edge of them swamps or through them swamps, because they've already been pressured, like I said before, and they know the does use them, so they're going through there trying to pick a hot doe up or a late doe up, and you can catch them on them junctions. So the most trails coming at a crossing point, the X, X marks the spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, basically buy some of the bedding, sneak by off a point that's kind of been like an old logging road that most of the time that people are already going to use to an extent, and I'm going to slip through some thicker stuff and go down there and come to the edge of that swamp, intrude, I'd say 15 to 20 yards where I can see to that junction, but can still see behind me to the edge of the swamp. And sometimes in them areas like that, if you find a good area like that, you can sneak say a lock on or something in there in August, or September or something like that before that, and have that kind of ready. I mean, that's just an option. One thing about me is I keep multiple options, different types of stands, different types of saddle things. I don't want to be a one-trick pony, so I'm going to have multiple ways to scout and hunt and be able to get in there with as least amount of intrusion as I can. If it's sneaking a lock on in there and something where it's rough to get into, and get a lock on up in a tree, or carry a mobile lock on, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to be hid and strategic about these positions and these areas that I'm hunting. So that's the thoughts on that swamp. Is anywhere where I have multiple options, multiple tracks, multiple trails coming together, where I can see them from the edge of the swamp close to the bedding area, that is what I'm going to hunt. And then I'm going to spend some days on them areas. Some people play them areas as a one-time hunt, but I'm not. When I'm rut hunting, I'll try to set up where I'm not at least as intrusive as I can, and be able to spend 2 or 3 days hunting, because that's just where the deer are. They don't stay in one spot all the time. They're going to move a little bit. So I want my best chances at multiple bucks, not just one. So early season, I'm targeting an individual buck. That's what I'm doing with the mountain and the hill country stuff. So later season, or rut chasing, I'm out for my best odds. So anyway, that covers that. We're going to try to do some more scouting, but it's getting hot already. So but still, we're going to try to do a couple more trips and some more videos and try to put them out. But we appreciate y'all. Keep subscribing, keep sharing, and tell your buddies and send me messages. And I got a message today, that appreciate it and had some good thoughts about it. So I really appreciate that, y'all's input and stuff. So hey, we appreciate y'all again, and stick with it, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye. Hey everybody, we sure appreciate y'all watching our videos, and if you don't care, like, subscribe if you haven't, and share, tell your friends. And if you hadn't had a chance to pick up one of my books, please pick one up on Amazon. If you want one signed or personalized, anything like that, hey, I'll do it. So we just really appreciate y'all's support. So thank y'all for stopping by, and we'll see y'all in the next video.